This girl covers her ears wherever she goes because her hearing is so acute. As a result, she has a hard time falling asleep at night and often hears her neighbors' little secrets. One day, there came an odd laugh from the next door. She walked over to take a look and found an elderly man struggling by the window with a plastic bag wrapped around his head. The caregiver behind him was in a panic. Just as the caregiver was about to tear off the plastic bag, the old man shoved her away. Not long after, the neighborhood was filled with the caregiver's scream. The old man died just like that. It turned out that ever since his wife passed away, the old man had often talked about wanting to commit suicide. The caregiver had been taking care of him all the time, but the tragedy still happened. When the police were about to close the case as a suicide, Lisa insisted that the old man was murdered by the caregiver. She claimed she saw everything. Once this testimony was given, the police arrested the caregiver on charges of murder because the caregiver might have staged the scene to make it look like a suicide after committing the crime. The lawyer defending the caregiver was named Jack. The moment he took the case, he noticed flaws in Lisa's testimony because Lisa had autism and usually spoke without logic. When the police questioned her, she inexplicably started singing. In contrast, the caregiver's statement seemed more credible. The caregiver told Jack that night she had been trying to tear off the plastic bag from the old man's head but couldn't manage to do so. She had to go find scissors, but when she returned, the man had already passed away. The caregiver was in tears, saying that she had no family and had treated the old man like her own family for the past 10 years. How could she harm him? Jack thought this made sense, so he comforted the caregiver. "I will do my best to clear your name." Soon, the first trial began. The expert witness brought in by the prosecution pointed out that there were no signs of suffocation on the plastic bag and that, given the caregiver's youth and strength, she couldn't possibly have been overpowered by an 80-year-old man. After hearing this, Jack immediately opened a paper which said that when people experience difficulty breathing, they develop a survival instinct, and their strength can increase significantly. Even if the caregiver was young, she wouldn't be able to overcome this force. The expert looked embarrassed because this paper had been written by him. Then, Jack revealed that he had found butane gas in the plastic bag the old man had used to commit suicide. This gas can cause hallucinations, and many people who attempt suicide use it to numb themselves and lessen the pain. Surveillance footage from a supermarket showed that the old man had bought butane a few days before. The prosecution's lawyer was left speechless by this video footage. Jack won the case in the first trial, but he didn't get carried away because the next trial would have Lisa as a witness. Although Lisa's words and behavior were strange, a psychiatrist told Jack that Lisa had a very high IQ and that people with autism have a characteristic: they don't lie. Therefore, her testimony was very strong. This made Jack hesitate, as the caregiver had passed a lie detector test, making her statement highly credible. Could it be that Lisa had made a mistake and had misinterpreted the caregiver's attempts to help his murder? In order to figure this out, Jack decided to visit Lisa. When he arrived at her school, he saw Lisa being mocked by a few classmates. Luckily, her best friend was there to support her, so she wasn't bullied. Jack quickly approached her to introduce himself, but Lisa ignored him. Instead, she kept staring at his tie and then mentioned a strange number. Jack was completely confused. What did that mean?